Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and I already broke down some injury news this morning for your Houston Texans, but boy, oh boy, we have a ton of news to tell you about on today's show. Justin Simmons was on the Kay Adams Show. He wants to be a Texan. Darius Slay, he's screwing the Buffalo Bills and likely out in Baltimore. All this and more broken down on today's show. But before we get into all that, you need to be there. Week 14, Texans up against the Chiefs. We're going live here on the channel. I expect each and every one of you to tune in. Sunday Night Football. I'll be going with my boy JD about an hour before kickoff. So make sure you're subscribed. Turn on those notifications. And before we get going, who's with me? Who's with me? Like the video if you believe in this team to beat the Chiefs. We haven't beaten Kansas City since 2019. Can we get that proverbial weight off our shoulders this weekend? I believe so. If you're with me, go down, hit that thumbs up icon because I'm done with Kansas City. I'm done with Patrick Mahomes, done with Andy Reid, and I'm done with the Chiefs. If you are ready to take them down this Sunday with me, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. I want to see thousands of likes on this video from all you rowdy Texans fans out there. First up, it's what we all want to talk about. Justin Simmons is practically begging the Texans and DeMeco Ryans to sign him. He wants to be a Texan. So what's the holdup? Why are we not bringing him in? Why are the Texans not talking to Justin Simmons? Because, last season, 62 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. Not bad. He was with the Atlanta Falcons last year. Didn't do too bad if you ask me. I thought he played halfway decent. Is he the all-pro that he once was with the Denver Broncos? No, he's not that good as of right now, but I think he would be a well addition to this Texans secondary. This is what he had to say on the Up and Adams Show with Kay Adams this morning. I talk to Kareem Jackson all the time, and he was just like, man, you would love it there. That would be a dream to go play with Houston. Right now, there's not much talk, but that could change. We'll see. He said that would be a dream to play in Houston. Come on, what are we doing, guys? Why are we not bringing this guy in for a workout, for something? Like, let's go. What's the holdup? It's Justin Simmons. We need help in the secondary. Let me know, though, do you want the Texans to sign Justin Simmons? Give me a yes, give me a no. I have seen a lot of comments of, well, Jeremy, the other 31 teams haven't signed him. Why should the Texans sign him? Because we have a lot of injuries in the secondary, and Justin Simmons isn't going to play for any team. He wants to only play with a contender. He's getting up in there in age, so he only wants to play with teams that he thinks can make the playoffs. And that's really telling that he thinks the Texans can make the playoffs. And I know he's not what he once was, but even if he's 70, 80% of the player he was in Denver, that's still a darn good player. These are his stats the last 4 seasons. Last year, 7 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. But the years prior with Denver, 15 games, 3 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. The year before that, 7 pass breakups, 6 interceptions. The year before that, 12 pass breakups, 5 interceptions. And yes, he took a little bit of a step back last year with Atlanta, but his coverage stats still aren't that bad. Allowing 210 yards. He did allow 3 touchdowns, 7 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating when targeted of 86.9. I still think Simmons has a lot left in the tank. And I would love for the Texans to go out there and at least bring him in for a workout, talk with Justin Simmons. It sounds like he already kind of has the inside scoop about DeMeco Ryans' defense from his former teammate and former Texan, Kareem Jackson. So there's already a link right there. DeMeco, pick up the phone, call your boy Justin Simmons, and let's get something going. Let's see what we can do. But the Texans, they did go ahead and make a move. They signed somebody in the secondary, and I'll tell you about that here in just a moment, because coming up, why the Darius Slay and Buffalo Bills news directly impacts your Houston Texans on multiple fronts. I'll tell you about that here in just one moment, but I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsor, PrizePicks. Get started today with America's #1 fantasy sports app and join the millions of users and sign up today. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. While you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. That's over at PrizePicks. I love how straightforward PrizePicks is. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to calculate my payouts. PrizePicks makes it easy with their payout multipliers. Whether it's just a simple 3 times or a big 2,000 times, PrizePicks makes it easy to understand how much I can win. And I'm looking to win this weekend. This is my lineup that I got for Sunday night. Jaden Higgins. This is another new feature on PrizePicks. It's called Stacks. You can choose one player up to 3 projections. I have 2 for my guy, Jaden Higgins. More on the receiving yards, more on the rushing and receiving touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going less. Will Anderson, more. You can use my lineup or go ahead and make your own because it's super simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All that information in the comments and description of today's show. First off, we have to go over the Darius Slay news to see how it impacts the Houston Texans. 6-time Pro Bowler Darius Slay informed the Buffalo Bills he is contemplating retirement and will not report after being claimed off waivers per source. Slay, the 34-year-old, was cut by the Steelers on Tuesday. Buffalo retains his rights for now in case Slay changes his mind. And you might be thinking, Jeremy, you're probably thinking that, oh, well, since he doesn't want to play for the Bills, the Texans should sign him. That's not what I'm saying. The reason why it directly impacts your Houston Texans is because the Bills, they had to make a roster move to claim Darius Slay. Their roster move, they waived their cornerback, Ja'Marcus Ingram. The Texans went ahead and claimed him off of waivers. So in that kind of mixture of everything that was happening with the Bills, they let go of Ja'Marcus Ingram to get Darius Slay. Now Darius Slay doesn't want to play with the Buffalo Bills. I'm assuming he wants to play with the Philadelphia Eagles for his last year in the league. So I don't know why the Bills made this decision if, they knew Darius Slay maybe wasn't going to want to play for them. They were just like, all right, well, we're going to claim you anyways. The Eagles also put in a claim for Darius Slay, but the Texans come out the victors as they got Ja'Marcus Ingram off of waivers. Not like a splashy move. I talked to our Bills host, and he said he's a special teams guy, and Texans kind of already did that with Amir Speed. So it's not a huge get. It's not like, oh, wow, we fleeced them. But subsequently, the Texans got a corner because Darius Slay doesn't want to play for the Buffalo Bills, basically. And it also impacts the Texans because the Bills hold one of those wild card spots, a spot that the Texans are coveting in these last 5 games. Here are the Bills' last 5 games, and they, I guess, thought Darius Slay would be able to help them in this final stretch of their season. Week 14 up against the Bengals was an easy game before, but Joe Burrow, he is back. And if you watch that game on Thanksgiving, the Bengals trounced the Ravens. Bengals might be a scary team to play in these final 5 weeks, even though they have 8 losses. They also play the Patriots, and this is very important because the Patriots can basically win the AFC East with a win over the Buffalo Bills. They have 2 easy ones against the Browns and Jets, but looking at this Week 17 game, if it happens to where they release Darius Slay and he ends up on the Philadelphia Eagles, that will be quite the matchup here in Week 17. But as we look at this AFC playoff picture, as I said, right there, the Buffalo Bills, they hold the 7 spot. The Texans, they're right behind them at 7-5. And I want y'all to take a good look at this playoff picture because I don't think this is going to be the final playoff picture when it's all said and done. These are not going to be the 7 teams, in my opinion, that make it in the AFC. So, out of those teams that you just saw on screen, what team do you think will not be in the playoffs? Will it be the Chargers, the Buffalo Bills, the Jags, the Colts? I don't know, the Ravens? They're hanging on by a thread as well. We're going to talk about them here in just a moment. But let me know, what team in the AFC that's in the playoffs right now do you think is going to drop out by the end of this season? Now, speaking of the Ravens, they had some news yesterday. Ravens and tight end Mark Andrews reached an agreement on a 3-year, $39.3 million extension that includes $26 million guaranteed. The Ravens announced the agreement that they reached with Andrews' agent, Justin Schulman. This is big because a lot of people were assuming that the Ravens and Mark Andrews, they were going to split ways. He was on the final year of his deal. He was making $14 million and, a slight pay decrease, but at his age, I'll take $13.1 million per year. Yeah, that's great for Mark Andrews. But what does this mean, Jeremy, for the Houston Texans? Their young tight end, Isaiah Likely, he's a free agent now. this offseason. And, pun intended, it's not likely that they sign 2 tight ends to major deals. So the assumption is Isaiah likely will hit the free agent market this offseason for any team to sign. And yes, he's not having a great year as of right now. 9 games played. He doesn't have a touchdown this season, 18 receptions, 223 yards, and he's never amassed over 500 yards in the past 4 seasons, but he's still a good tight end. And I wonder with the Texans, with how they are at tight end right now, and current offensive coordinator Nick Haley, we know he loves him some tight ends. Could the Texans be in the mix for a guy like Isaiah Likely? Something to monitor as the year goes on. All right, that's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Make sure you like the video if you want to beat the Chiefs. If you want to hit me up on X, you can do so at Jeremy Chugs. My DMs are always open. And if you made it to the end of the video, I always say, hit that subscribe button. We're doing something right. You made it to the end of the show. My promise to you is this. Give me 1 week. Hit that subscribe button. If you don't like it, no skin off your back. You can unsubscribe. But I promise you, you will enjoy this channel, the #1 Texans channel here on YouTube.